Welcome to Julie the Thrifty Designer. Today I'm going to change out the red. Whoops, going the wrong direction. The red here on my curtains. I had them there for Christmas and I left them up through Valentine's, but now we're going into spring. So it's time to change out the red. Stay tuned and see what we're going to make this look like. Well, I wanted just for you to see what the red curtains look like before I start changing them up. And see, they go from the ceiling all the way down to the floor. And we are going to make these look a whole lot different. And we're taking out the red, but we're going to be using the blue. See over here? Yeah, I don't think you can see as much. But my table is in the way. Let's see if I can get it so you can see it when the table's not in. I have my dog water and food down there, so that's what those bowls are. But I am putting some stuff in here for a reason. And we are probably gonna revisit that wreath. I am not happy with it now that I've lived with it, and I have some new ideas on how to change it. So that is probably coming after a bit. So let's look and see what we're going to do next. So what I have here is some blue and white curtains. I picked these up from the thrift store. Now there was no size on them that I could read anywhere. And they looked like they might have been the 96 inch. And that's what I have here is 96 inch. Or they might even be 94 inch for them to just graze the floor. 96 is what I think I bought. And I did get the red ones from Amazon. And this blue one also from Amazon. When they came, they were very much puddling on the floor, which was amazing. But with my animals, and I wasn't loving it, but I thought, oh well, that's life. But I thought, well, I'm going to go ahead and wash them because they were kind of wrinkled. And by washing them, these particular ones, these shearer looking ones from Amazon, shrunk to the perfect length. I washed them one other time and they didn't shrink anymore. So it's like, okay, perfect. So I don't know how to link it. It's been a while since I bought it. And you guys got to forgive me. I just don't know how to link things from Amazon on my channel here. I wish I did. I cannot figure out how to get it to do it. I have pushed what I thought was the button to push, and all it did was give the description. So I'm sorry, guys. But these are very, very pretty. They are sheer, and they're my blue and white that I love. But we're going to get ready for spring, and yes, we're going to go right in. We're going to remove the red ones and put in these. See how nice they go with those curtains? Little geometric pattern with floral. Very fun, festive, and delightful. And yet still very English cottage. But these are actually shorter than what the window needs. They're not a 96 inch. I think they're more than 84 inch ones typical. But they're not 86 or 96 either. So they're almost like a 90 inch, maybe even a little less. I don't know. Because there's going to be a gap at the bottom that I'm going to show us how we can at least hide it when we're trying to bring all our drapes up to the ceiling. So let's take the red ones down and start putting the blue ones up. What I have up there is the rod come down off of the bracket that holds it. And it is one of these that's a screw-on finial on the end. I actually got it from, I think it was Walmart. No, it was Tuesday morning and it was on clearance. That's what this was. Very pretty, very simple. Now, you all might not want to change out your curtains for the season, but for me, this is actually the only window that I can do this in. And I just think it adds to it to make it more festive and fun. But I'm going to show you just a little bit on down. My stool is there because I'm getting ready to step up on it again. But look at the wall that the contractors did. They ripped out a half wall that was in here, and it was very dated. It was paneling, but I asked the contractors if they would just please wait. We'll do this after all the other projects are done. No, they didn't listen. They came out and ripped it out, and all of it got thrown away, and I can't even put it back if I wanted to. So right now, this is what I have. So I have liquid nails all over the wall that I'm gonna have to figure out how to either skim over or sand. I'm just not sure what I'm gonna have to do, and it takes energy that I just don't have. I mean, they even ripped it out, the baseboards, and they're gone, and they were here when I moved in. So I'm a bit frustrated, and there's nothing I can do about it. So eventually I will make that look the way I want it to. It will be pretty, it just takes time, energy, and money. So anyway, here's what it looks like, and through the magic of TV, you'll get to see the next curtain up. All right, as you can see, doesn't that look really beautiful together? I really like how that looks. It's just got a beautiful texture, and it's just the beautiful blue and white. But when we get down here, uh-oh, we have a problem. And I guess it is the 86-inch. So we are gonna try to fix that so you don't see it. And now I'm not sewing, I'm not adding material to it. We're just gonna hide it. Let's see how it will turn out. Okay, as you can see, I have one of these and old-fashioned, it's kind of Greek or Romanesque style. I did use this during my days when I was doing Tuscan. And I still think it's an absolute beautiful glass vase. And it's big, as you can see. It is a very, look at my face next to it, okay? And it's got some weight to it. I think it's gonna look really nice. I'm gonna put this right down on the floor in front of those short curtains. Okay, as you can see, I think it actually looks really nice there. And it helps with the bust girl that I have there. And now, of course, it's not enough to hide that. So let's go from here and see what we're gonna do to make it fill in that space and look a little bit more camouflaged. All right, as you can see, you don't see that that is a short curtain now. And yet it looks really nice to see a plant. All I had was a bunch of greenery. Big picks, ones that hang down and ones that would stick up. And I stuck them in that vase. And I think it looks pretty neat. And it looks good underneath the bust or the dressmaking holder thing. It just brings a really pretty look. So I'm going to show you this corner right here, and so that you will see how it looks really pretty to have the plant in this corner. And unless you're really someone that's studying, you're not gonna know that that one drape is shorter. That's my tip on how to camouflage something that you can't do anything about. I can't afford to replace these drapes. They were so inexpensive. I got them like for $5 a panel. And on Amazon, something similar to this was like $30 a panel. So I'm not gonna replace them. I'm just gonna camouflage it. Now you can see right here in this spot, right by the other little cabinet that I have right here, how it is still short, but I have a smaller space. So I am choosing to do the same type of thing, but maybe with a little bit smaller scale. So here's another one of my Tuscan vases, and this one is truly heavy. Wow, is it heavy. And it by itself almost hides the fact that their drape doesn't go all the way to the ground. But we're going to do just like we did on the other one. So I'm going to show you how I did it. So what I have is just these simple, long, beautiful, and I'm just sticking it in. Simply sticking it in so that it will hang down. Whoops, I guess I wanted it more tighter. Just hanging down, and we're going to camouflage the base a little bit. So I have a bunch of picks. And this one kind of sticks up, and I'm using different textures because I need it to have a different type appearance to it. And then here's another one. We're going to put it an angle coming out like that. And I'm going to have to find another long one, which I do have in my storage. I'll put that in a moment. And here is a very similar bush. And I'm just going to be putting them in like this. So let me fix this all up and show you how it really is going to look when it is finished. Well, there it is. And again, unless you know that curtain is short, you're not going to realize it. So these are the ways that you can camouflage. Now, all I have is a nice green base with flowers in those vases. I'm reusing things that I've already have. I didn't go out and buy anything. Now, of course, if you don't have anything like this, go look in the thrift stores for those type of vases. Since the Tuscan look is really not in anymore, people are getting rid of it. So you will find tons of these type of vases and things in the thrift store for next to nothing, because they're just not actually all that popular right now. But being English cottage, it is a curated over time look. And so it's classic. It's things that is a hand-me-down type of feel. And plus putting all the greenery in front of it, you're not seeing so much that it's truly a Tuscan style. But yet it's old world, and it truly works with the English cottage. This is quite pretty, standing on its own like this for any type of decor, really. Unless you're just very much of a minimalist and modern, maybe not for that. But for most traditional styles, this would work. Especially if you're tight on money, just go to the thrift store and get what you can, the finest things you can find. And you'll have to pick up flowers. And even at the thrift store, you can find sometimes greenery for cheaper than you can get them at the stores. So it's a way to camouflage problems without costing you an arm and a leg. Now I will be repairing this corner now that I don't have it for Valentine's. It's still just the basics, and we're going to be changing those up later. But see, if you're looking really hard, maybe you can tell, but boy, do you have to look hard. I have pushed my table back so that it's not in the view, so you can see how on each side it has the balancing plant. And I think it just looks really pretty. And I mean, yes, the one on the left can be a little bit further over and a little bit bigger because there's room there for it. The other side I had to crowd it a little bit more because of the table. But it still looks good. And it gives truly a very nice balance and a way to camouflage a problem. I think it looks really good. Now, let's redo that wreath in the middle. There's something just not right, and I've been thinking about it. I think I figured out what I can do to truly make that look a lot better. All right, so what you can see is what I have done by adding more. It's just thickened it more. And I'm not gonna hang it so the bow goes up and down like this anymore. I'm gonna hang it so it's more of an angle. That's how the inspiration actually was also. And so now I have put this plate over here. I'm going to put the others in. Now, if I had some twist ties, I would use them. I just don't any right now. So I'm still going to be using the zip ties. But if you had little zip tie or chenille stems or just wire of some kind, this would be easier, I think, ultimately, than zip ties. But at the moment, it's what I have. So now, this plate is already basically in place where I want it. And what we're going to do is just place, I have one plate like this style, and I have a different style. I'm going to place it here. Then I have another one of those lace ones, and I put it here. And then I thought maybe we would just kind of nestle this one in over here. So when it's hanging down, this is how it's going to look. I hope this will look right. We'll try it again, but what I have done is, again, I'm using zip ties. I really do wish I had actual wire, but you use what you got sometimes. So now what I am doing is you start from underneath, and then I'm going through a hole, and I'm going back down through another hole, so we'll hold it into place. And then I'll move these off of here, and we'll place them again in a moment. So I'm going to figure out, this is a square one, and I'm just going to nestle it through all of the greenery here, because I don't want it to squish down the greenery. I want it to go in between it and not squishing it all down, if at all possible. So I'm attempting to do this again. There, and I don't want it super tight, and we're just going to let it sit to the best of its ability. So what do we think so far? Do we think this is starting to look good? And then this is that style blue. So now I think one right here. How is that starting to look? To be a half moon style rather than all the way around and extra overfilled. So let me put these on, and then we'll look at it and go from there. All right. Now, what do you think? Does it look a little bit better? It's not quite as crowded. I only added the one of the lacier looking ones, and then I alternated the blue. But see, the wreath is just too small to actually do this justice. But I think it looks a little bit better. And I stayed with the blue. The reason I had done on the last one some of the more pink flowers, because I was trying to bring in that touch of spring, but it just didn't look right. And this still really doesn't do what the inspiration was like. And I'm going to insert another picture of my inspiration for those of you that didn't actually see my inspiration. This is from Pinterest, the idea. Now, they had a 24-inch or bigger wreath when they made theirs. And this is only, I think, a 16 or 17-inch, somewhere, I don't know, somewhere around there, I don't remember, from Amazon. And I've added a little bit more to it to try to bring it out a little bit bigger. And then they had a fancier bow, and this is a simpler bow that I chose to use because I did want to keep it simpler. The Amazon one was just an inspiration. I was trying to make it my own, but everything else I had done to it just didn't work. So this here is, I think, a little bit better. I'm staying with just the blue and white like the inspiration, and I just added this. I don't know, but I think at the angle with it just this, I think this is simpler. Now come spring, when I'm really ready to decorate for spring, which is next week's beginning, or later on this week, whatever. Anyway, I can, when I'm ready, I can just insert some just beautiful spring flowers to make it look. But so, does this look better to y'all that has seen the last one? I think it does look better. It's not quite as crowded. I mean, the other one, when I stopped like this, it just seemed like everything was lined up too wrong, and I just didn't like how it felt. So I think it's better. It's just still needing some work. I don't know. I guess it's because of the size and maybe the fact that they used real plates, where for me, it's going to be hanging on my door over there. And when you open and close the door, I just didn't want glass because it could fall, it could break. And I was just trying to do an inexpensive dupe that maybe you guys can have an idea how to make it look the way you want it with using what plates you like. This was supposed to be just an idea to create something fun in your own style. So hopefully this will look better. We'll see. Well, I hope that I had given you some really functioning ideas of what you can do with your curtains when, you know, it is the trend right now. Maybe in the past people didn't care in the design world, but now it really is floor to ceiling for your drapes. You really do want them, and they do look more classy, they do look more elegant, they do look more professional when you do that. So these were just inexpensive thrift store and Amazon curtains, but unfortunately the one from the thrift store turned out to be shorter than I thought they were, and so I had to camouflage it. So I just wanted to be able to inspire you to see that, okay, we have some design flaws in our materials. What can we do to hide it so it's not in your face? Oh, that one curtain's long and that one's short. And you know, it did look silly not having them both the same length. It just wasn't right. So now when you look at it, you don't see that. And it has just a pretty plant look in front of it. Just an idea. Maybe you have some big statues of some kind that you think would fill it up, and you could use that. The sky is the limit of things you can put there. I just personally kind of like the plants, and I always do fake ones because the real ones I do have in the house look so sick. I don't know what to do with the poor babies. I think the house just really doesn't give enough lighting. I mean, as you can see right now, even with this, the light is coming from above, which is my light here in the dining room, and it's kind of giving me this weird shadowy look. And this, yes, the light comes in, but it's kind of filtered. And the only other light is coming from my bay window, and across the room it kind of darkens. So it's not really the brightest room, and so my live plants suffer. So I just go to the fake ones, and I try to look for the nicest ones I can so they don't look super cheap, but I can't afford expensive ones either. So I hope this gave you an idea to use what you have and bring those drapes that you might have hanging down lower. It brings the ceiling down too low. You want it to be up. So even if you have the 84-inch curtains, take your rods clear to the ceiling and let them come down. Now they're going to look high wire, and that does not look good. So do something like what we just did in front of them to make them stand out, look very nice, and it's just a trick to fool the eyes, but use what you have. If you love the style, do that. Now, if you're a sewer, which I'm not, you can take your drapes down and find a coordinating pattern, or even if you can still find the same material, sew the length onto it cheap, inexpensively. No one's going to really pay attention. Put a little bric-a-brac there so it looks like it's deliberate. And especially if you're doing cottage style, that works because it brings in still that little bit of cottage charm. But for me, I need to camouflage. Being a needle and thread, oh no, not my best friend. My mom sewed, my sister sews, me, I just can't stand it. Hot glue gun, okay. But anyway, I hope that the curtain idea is something that you all can use in your home when your curtains are just too short and you need to lengthen them. Now I'm going to bring the camera up a little bit closer and let you see how it looks. I do like it better. I just had too much on it. I think now it has a little bit more like the inspiration, although in a much smaller scale. I'm gonna let you go. It's the close of this video. I do hope that it was inspirational. We will next video actually start doing a little more spring decorating. I know it's only a month really until Easter, so I need to get after it. But I'm going to start out with spring, and then when we get a little closer to Easter, then I'll start adding in the hints of Easter that I'm going to be putting in. Some cute stuff. But so next video, we will start spring. And it kind of started here. I had to get the bones in. I had to get it started with what the curtains were going to be so that it's no longer the red of Valentine's or Christmas. We are now starting with a fresh slate. My dining room chairs are also red with slip covers, and I'm going to be taking them off, and we will start with a fresh new look. The chairs themselves are white, so we're just going to go back to the white, and from there it'll go with anything we want. So I'm just going to say thank you guys so much for watching. Y'all take care, and God bless, and happy decorating. Love you guys so much. Until we meet again on the next video. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.